Thomas Jefferson is one of the most important figures in the history of religious freedom in America. However, his personal religious beliefs can be very difficult to understand in the beginning. He strongly believed that government should not control a person's religious beliefs. Looking at his writings and the work of historians that studied Jefferson helps us better understand what he meant by religious liberty and the separation of church and state. One of the best known examples comes from Jefferson's 1802 letter to the Danbury Baptist Association. And in that letter, Jefferson described the First Amendment as creating a wall of separation between church and state. This phrase is still used today when people discuss religion and government. Historian James Hudson argued that we need to be careful about applying modern understanding of that phrase to Jefferson. He goes on to explain that the Danbury letter needs to be understood in its original historical and political setting. Jefferson was assuring the Baptists that the federal government would not interfere with their religious beliefs or worship. From this perspective, Jefferson's main concern was protecting religious freedom and individual conscience from government interference. Jefferson's ideas about religious freedom actually developed much earlier. Thomas Buckley's study of religion in revolutionary Virginia shows us that Jefferson was part of a much larger debate over religious liberty. Baptists, Presbyterians, and other religious groups opposed government supported religion. Jefferson's Virginia Statute of Religious Freedom eventually became an important part of this movement. Buckley's research is helpful because it shows that Jefferson did not create religious freedom on his own. His ideas developed during a larger struggle involving many religious groups, political leaders, and average everyday citizens. Jefferson's personal beliefs about Christianity are also important to study and understand. Historian Arthur Scher explains that Jefferson does not fit neatly into a specific Christian category because he rejected several traditional Christian beliefs, including the Trinity, the divinity of Christ, and many miracles that we read about in the Bible. However, he greatly respected Jesus as a moral teacher. This is very evident in what is commonly known as the Jefferson Bible, which Jefferson focused heavily on writing about the moral teachings of Jesus. This creates an important distinction. Jefferson could disagree with traditional Christian doctrine while still believing that Christian moral teachings had value. He could also support religion in society while believing the government should not control religious belief. When we put together all of these different aspects, Jefferson's position becomes a little bit more clear. His wall of separation should not automatically be understood as removing religion from society. Instead, he was mainly concerned with protecting freedom of conscience and limiting government's power over religion. In the end, his beliefs were definitely complicated, but his basic principle was evidently clear. Religious belief should not be forced by government.